You're watching Capital One Bowl Mania.
And welcome to the Dollar General Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. As we are on the coast of Alabama in Mobile, Alabama, Ladd Peoples Stadium, where today Toledo and Appalachian State get to go again. They met in a bowl game a year ago that was decided by a missed field goal late. These two teams should put on quite the show tonight. And a pleasant good evening, everybody. I'm Dave Neal alongside former Georgia All-American Matt Stinchcomb. And Matt, these are two conference champs. These are two very talented teams. This is probably one of those bowl games. If you didn't pay much attention, you're in for a real treat tonight. Two high-powered offenses. What do you like most about this matchup?
Well, they're two proud programs, obviously very accomplished football teams. When you look at the way they were able to dominate their conference schedules, both of these teams, only one blemish as far as that schedule is concerned. What I like more than anything else, though, coming into this contest, you got two teams that are relatively familiar with one another with very different styles of play. You've got an attacking defense for App State and one that's very committed to the run on offense, whereas Toledo, a far more in vogue offense, more RPOs, and one that's going to play press man outside, and they're going to play safe. They're not going to blitz a whole lot. So you look at that two different approaches, which one will weigh out, which one will win out in this contest here tonight.
Well, we have got two outstanding quarterbacks, both seniors. When you combine their numbers, they've thrown for over 20,000 yards and 183 touchdowns. And let's start with this guy, Logan Woodside of Toledo. He has shattered numerous records.
Well, look at how prolific he has been over the course of his time for the Rockets. And when you talk with Coach Jason Candle, he describes a quarterback that has everything that you're looking for outside of maybe stature. That's the only knock on Logan Woodside, and you can see the fact that he's been able to compile 10,000 plus passing yards. He is a dangerous weapon for that Rocket offense.
Well, on the flip side of things, you've got another quarterback in Taylor Lamb. And this Appalachian State team, since they jumped to the FBS a few years ago, they've been bowl eligible 3 consecutive years, and the guy that has led them there is this man. And he does it a little bit differently than Woodside.
Yeah, he's an Iron Man. You know, he can draw on a wealth of experience. His 51st career game will go on here tonight. 90 career touchdown passes, and a lot of those come off of play action, because in this offense for Appalachian State, they are going to establish the run, and they will also see a lot of contribution from the quarterback position. Taylor Lamb is a guy that can hurt you with his arm and with his legs.
As you can see, closing in on 2,000 rushing yards as a quarterback. Should be a lot of fun. The Mountaineers and the Rockets coming your way from Mobile, the Dollar General Bowl. Back in a moment. Appalachian State and Toledo. The Rockets, the MAC champs. Appalachian State co-champs in the Sun Belt with Troy. And certainly an important meeting between these two clubs. Both these teams trying to get the same kind of result they had a year ago. Just a fantastic game. And for the coaches, maybe a little bit more spice. And for more on that story, let's go down to Dawn Davenport.
Yeah, Dave, these two coaches are really good friends. A friendship that started back in 2009 when they both served on the offensive staff for Toledo. Satterfield coached quarterbacks, Coach Candle coached receivers and tight ends. They have stayed in touch. They hang out a lot in the offseason, even call each other several times throughout the season to bounce ideas off of one another. Now, needless to say, they did not do that this week. When Candle heard about the matchup, he texted Satterfield, simply said, round 2. Guys, neither coach is all that happy about facing each other, but Coach Satterfield did point out when you're playing your buddy on top of everything else, bragging rights for the year, they're on the line tonight.
Yeah, those guys having some fun leading up to this game, but you can put all that aside now as they get set. And, you know, for Jason Candle, it was a tough loss a year ago in Montgomery at the Camellia Bowl. They lose on a missed field goal.
And it was a makeable field goal at that, a 30-yarder push to the right, an opportunity for Vest, same kicker again this game, to kind of make amends for that miss a season ago. But you better believe both these programs, and it starts from the top down, these head coaches, yeah, they're familiar with one another. They might not like having to play one another, but what they won't like even more is losing to the other guy. It's like playing pickup hoops with your brother in the driveway.
And this was the Raycom Media Camellia Bowl last year. Running backs shined for both those teams. Marcus Cox, 143 yards. Kareem Hunt, 120 yards. Rubino had the go-ahead field goal with a little over 5 minutes to go. And then there's the miss from Jamison Vest, who's still on this team for Toledo. You know he would like a little redemption. App State became the first team to win bowl games in its first 2 FBS bowl-eligible seasons. They're trying to make it 3 in a row under that man, Scott Satterfield, who is now in his 5th year, the former quarterback at Appalachian State. has found an offense that works. People have had a tough time trying to shut it down.
He's definitely committed to it. We'll get an opportunity to see it here as the Mountaineers take this opening possession. But there's no doubt about it. For a quarterback, or former quarterback anyway, in Scott Satterfield, he's a guy that loves to run the football. He knows that play-action passing game can make life a lot easier for a passer, and he's got a pretty good one in Taylor Lamb.
Hannigan and Lewis back to return the kick of Jamison Vest. This will be taken at the 5-yard line by Thomas Hennigan, the freshman. He's out to the 25 and walloped right there. For Appalachian State, it was a season that got off to a tough start as they took on Georgia early on and lost that one. They had some close losses, but they would eventually wind up as co-champs out of the Sun Belt. They've won 6 of their last 8 games, and they have really dominated their last 3 opponents. They have put up 63 in their last game against Louisiana Lafayette. 63-14 was that final score. So coming here with a little bit of momentum, see if they can keep that going. So the Mountaineers in their black helmets and white jerseys with the football in the far hash, still spotted just outside the 26-yard line. Taylor Lamb making his 49th consecutive starts, 35-13 as a starter. A loss of a yard as Jalen Moore gets that first carry. And for Lamb, the senior out of Calhoun, Georgia, we talk about some of his passing numbers, but he averages over 7.5 yards per carry.
Yeah, he doesn't run it a ton. When you look at this offense, we can expect to see him with more carries in this game, given the success that App State had versus this Toledo defensive unit a season ago. Something that the Rocket defense anticipates seeing is Taylor Lamb with the ball in his hands in the run game.
Here comes Lamb. He will keep it, and he'll have the first down. See where they spot it at the 37.5-yard line. That'll be good enough to move the chains. A pickup of 11 as we get you to tonight's.
Well, you see kind of a change up here because it's a zone to the right. That entire offensive front is working to the right side, and they're a very right-handed offense in their run game. But you'll see this kind of a speed option coming off the backside of those zone runs. The outside zone is the staple of this Mountaineer run offense.
Run left side out to the 40-yard line. Moore will pick up a couple of hard yards. And now it's time for tonight's storyline, brought to you by Jared.
Well, for Appalachian State, the big thing is obviously they're going to run the football, but because Toledo likes to play press man coverage on the outside, there's not a lot of space. They're going to have to win downfield with their inside receivers in the slots, perhaps even at tight end. For the Toledo defense, it's real simple. Not only stopping the run, but stopping the element of the Mountaineer run offense that hurt them so much last year, which was the QB run game.
Couple of tight ends for the Mountaineers out of that pistol formation. Just a straight inside handoff, and Moore will take it out over the 45. They'll spot him about a yard shy of the line to make a gain of 7. Malik Jones brings him down, but there is Jalen Moore, who a little banged up this year. He's been bothered by foot problems, an ankle, a bad hip, but still found a way to rush for 912 yards and 9 touchdowns. He is just a dynamic runner with the ball in his hands.
He's a guy that can do it all. Well-rounded back. He's not just a ball carrier. Excellent in protection as well.
Sun Belt Offensive Player of the Year a season ago. Boy, ran right into a blue jersey and loses a yard.
App State brought in an extra blocker, and it was Bear Hunter, number 99, and they tried to run right behind that right side, behind Colby Gossett and Bo Nunn, 2 all-conference performers, and it was redshirt freshman Bear Hunter just got pushed into the backfield, and Jack Lynch, the former walk-on, 3-time Burlsworth Award candidate, was able to come up with a big negative yardage tackle to force this punt. A huge stop to open this game for the Rocket defense.
Lynch, great story. Coach said he leads the team in grit plays. Things that are hidden in a game, players just kind of tough it out and make a play, and he just made one there. That ball is on the turf. It's free. Who's got it? A scramble for it around the 17-yard line. Boy, Toledo catches a huge break. That ball just bounces off. But Kinley Lewis, just kind of misread it.
It was not a very well struck punt. Didn't go very high. It was a bit of a wobbler. And McKinley Lewis just misjudged it. As you mentioned, Dave, tried to come up and field that punt. Didn't do so cleanly. And the Rockets able to kind of avert a crisis there. Would have been phenomenal field position for the Mountaineers. As it is, not the best starting field position, but excellent opportunity not only to maintain that possession for the Rocket offense.
Well, here is Logan Woodside, the senior out of Frankfort, Kentucky. Franklin County High School's own. They'll run it off the right side. We'll get it to the 20-yard line. A gain of 3 to Terry Swanson. Myquan Stout, the big nose tackle, making the play. There is Logan Woodside. His numbers, 65% completion rate. Numbers a little bit down from a year ago, but still they are just gaudy numbers regardless.
And remarkably efficient. 28 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions. Protects the football and is able to be very productive in the passing game.
Jordan Fisher, the tight end, goes in motion. Second down, here comes some heat. Woodside, open receiver. Zonvay Johnson makes the catch, a gain of 15. That is the 42nd catch of the year. Some storylines as this Toledo offense, what do they need to do to get it cranked up?
You know, I say see the box, and what I mean by that is this is an RPO offense. And so they're going to be counting the number of defenders in the box from tackle to tackle or perhaps tight end to tight end in a personnel grouping as we see right here. That's going to be paramount so that Woodside's making the right decisions to where to go with the football, whether to run it or to pass it.
Woodside will throw. It's batted. Still caught on that far side. Deontay Johnson makes the catch.
Right on time. That was the other side of that. So the App State defense, the key is going to be to bottle up that man, Deontay Johnson. It's going to be challenging because, as you see, he is a lethal weapon, not only as a receiver, but also in special teams. All-conference performer, first team as a receiver and punt returner, second team as a kick returner, can flip the field at any moment.
This Toledo team coming off a MAC championship at Ford Field. They just hammered Akron. They led 38-0 in that game. Eventually won at 45-28. That handoff goes to Swanson. He gets about 1.5 yards before he is stopped. Noel Cook comes up to make the play. Cook, the sophomore linebacker out of Reidsville, North Carolina. That's just his 6th tackle of the season. And one of the reasons we're seeing him is because Rashad Towns is out with an injury.
And Towns was a big playmaker for this App State defense and in replacement of T. Sims. You're talking about guys that generate negative yardage plays that can disrupt an offensive backfield. And certainly on third down plays such as this, you want those types of playmakers on your defense.
41% this year on third downs for this Rocket offense. Some more pressure comes. Woodside sees it. Pass is caught, and that'll be a first down. It goes to the tight end, Fisher. Fisher had a career-high 6 grabs earlier this year against NIU, and they're looking for him in the middle of the field right now.
Now you see Toledo jumping the football, get a quick first down, and jump into their tempo game.
And there is a flag down on the far side of the field.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 3, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Our referee, Kevin Hassel, this crew out of the Mountain West.
And you can see it was Deontay Johnson. They jump into that tempo, get a little bit anxious sometimes. We mentioned Johnson and the role that he plays for the Rocket offense. You know, one of the things for the Mountaineers in this game, you know, as well as Toledo throws the football and with the weapons they have on the perimeter, they don't want the Rockets to be able to establish that ground game because when they're balanced is when they're most dangerous.
First down at 15. Woodside hammered as he lets it go. It's incomplete. Threw that a little bit quicker than he wanted to as Appalachian State's really bringing some heat. Godwin was the one that brought some pressure.
And this is what App State's going to do. They're going to pressure quite a bit. So you're going to see stunts up front. A lot of line twists. You see Godwin coming inside unaccounted for. Anthony Flory as well, blitzing from his linebacker spot. And this is what they're going to force Toledo to do. And as long as Woodside can manage the blitz, there's going to be opportunity. But if they're able to get home, especially from the quarterback's face initially, as they reset the game clock. They're going to put about another 16 seconds on it to 8:25. But this is what App State does. Nate Woody, defensive coordinator for the Mountaineers, he's going to be attacking. And Toledo fully anticipates to see this most of the night. He's not going to lay back. He's going to mix up coverages, and he's going to try to get the quarterback off of his spot. If you let Woodside sit back there all day, he can pick you apart with the weapons he has outside.
The MAC Offensive Player of the Year and MVP will be facing a 2nd down and 15. And now we are set for play. Quick throw near side, a little too hot to handle for Terry Swanson.
We talk about Woodside and his accuracy, and sometimes it's those easy throws. Take just a little bit off of it, and you hit Swanson. And now, how big is the penalty? Obviously, get you behind the down and distance and out of rhythm. It was just a moment ago when Toledo was rolling. You pick up a 1st down, you jump into your tempo, you get a false start, and now you're facing a 3rd and 15.
Jonve Johnson comes to the near side, splits out wide. Now they'll send Swanson in motion to a 5-receiver look and a false start up front. They'll move him back 5 more. It'll be 3rd down and 20.
There's Sammy Kassem in this left guard position. Came out of his stance a little bit early.
False start. Offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
We talk about both of these teams. They played their best football on the back end of the season. Part of it, well, for the Rockets anyway, offensively, is they've had a revolving door, especially at left guard and in their internal offensive line. Some injuries have forced guys into service. Kassem's one of those guys, and when you're facing a pressuring defense, you get a little bit nervous in the service and come out of your stance early. Costs the Rockets yet another 5 yards.
Straight inside handoff to Terry Swanson. He'll pick up A, but a flag comes in late after the play from our head linesman right in front of the Toledo bench.
They're going to get Myquan Stout, the leader of this defense, key cog at his nose tackle position because he takes on double teams, but he had a handful of Terry Swanson's face mask.
There is no foul for a face mask. Result of the play brings up 4th down.
Well, after consulting, they decide that there was no face mask.
Right in the middle of your screen, and they're right. It's an excellent call. When he spun around, it looked like his left hand was high. See it right there initially, and when Swanson's head bounces back, but that's a great job by the officials seeing that real time and waving off the flag.
Flint will punt it away. That one will sail into the end zone. Each team has had the football. Each team has had the punt. These two high-powered offense kind of feeling each other out. Back in a moment.
The Dollar General Bowl, brought to you by Dollar General. Save time, save money every day. And the Capital One Venture Card. Earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every day. What's in your wallet?
Friday night, Mobile hosted a Mardi Gras parade, over 24 floats, marching bands from both teams. You know this little fact, Stinch. Mobile hosted the first Mardi Gras celebration in America back in 1703. That was 15 years before New Orleans was even founded. This game, how about this? One of 3 bowl games that pits conference champs against each other with the Rose and the Cotton. Pretty impressive stuff. Impressive on the option game out to the right side. And that'll go to Ike Lewis, who will pick up 10 yards. But as far as bowl games go, I mean, we've got 2 conference champs. Of course, Appalachian State co-champs, but Toledo won their first MAC championship since 2004. Pretty good company for these 2 clubs.
Yeah, you're not kidding. I mean, when you look at the other 2, of course, the Rose Bowl participating in the playoff, one of the playoff games, a qualifier for the championship game. And the idea that you get two highly accomplished teams that represent their conferences matched up with one another.
That handoff goes to Jalen Moore. He'll pick up 3. One thing about this Toledo team, and I think those that follow college football understand Appalachian State coming from an FCS level after great success, and they've continued that here at the FBS level. But this Toledo team has had consistent success over the last few years. When you start looking at some of their numbers and the number of games they've won over the years, they've won a total of 9 games, 6 of the last 7 years. This is their 7th bowl in their last 8 years. I mean, they've quietly put together a pretty good program. Some flags and some movement.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 50, 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
Now you're right, Dave. You look at Toledo, their accomplishments, obviously making it to postseason eligibility. And right now, both of these teams, App State, since they've joined the FBS, they've done an excellent job. But kind of sloppy play right now. Bo Nunn, the all Sun Belt Conference performer, one of the best players, one of the best offensive linemen in that entire conference, a stalwart for the Mountaineer offense. And he gets flagged for the penalty. And negative yardage plays hurting both of these offensive units so far.
Little jump cut at the line of scrimmage and nowhere to run. Maybe a yard for Jalen Moore.
Jalen Moore that time was trying to kind of work the backside. So far right now, Toledo along their defensive front, when they've had to, they've done a great job of anchoring along the front. No movement along the offensive line of App State. And you see there at left guard, Ryan Newsel, a freshman, a guy that was inserted into that lineup to try to give them a little bit more pop, and there was just no push on the inside, nowhere to go for more.
3rd down and 11 for the Mountaineers. 4-man rush, deep down the middle, and just out of reach of Ike Lewis. Boy, he was there.
And Taylor Lamb, and we talk about the career he's had. He's an accurate passer, a smart guy, and that time just had too much on this football, because you're right, Dave, he had him. Ike Lewis, who split out to the left side of that formation. They had the matchup that they were looking for, and Lewis is the guy where they'll take shots. That time, forced to try to throw it downfield just to get a conversion and maintain the possession. And Taylor Lamb, just a little too much juice on that one.
Nothing new for Mountaineer fans. Their offense has been slow out of the gates all season long. And another flag, another false start, it appears.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 9, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down. .44, please.
As they make another clock adjustment. Penalty, some time rolled off of that as Austin Exford for App State was flagged for the procedure penalty.
Xavier Zubac from Melbourne, Australia.
5-4-4, please.
Back to punt it away. An influx of Australian punters have hit college football. A pipeline has been created.
A lot of that, especially with the advent of the rugby-style kick, it makes a lot of sense. You know, it's a little bit more of a traditional kicker.
Line drive kick. McKinley Lewis fields this one cleanly, runs into his own man, and is dropped at the 38-yard line. 44-yard punt, give him 7 on the return. But boy, App State had an opportunity and just missed it.
Well, Taylor Lamb, and he had a chance to get it to his favorite target in Ike Lewis, and the Rockets dodge a bullet.
Well, the 100-year anniversary of Toledo football has been a pretty good season as this Rocket team finished 11-2, one win away from tying the school record for wins, set 70 and 71. Defeated Akron in the MAC championship game at Ford Field, the first conference title since '04, and this offense has been just putting up massive numbers, over 500 yards per game, almost 40 points per game. That's 8 and 11th respectively. And you look at Jason Campbell, who got this job in December of 2015. His first game was actually trying to get the team together to go play in the Boca Raton Bowl. He ended up beating Temple 32-17, but the 38-year-old, certainly his star is rising in a hurry. 5:33 to go in the first quarter, scoreless ball game. Boy, all day to throw for Woodside, and he's picked off right in the middle of the field by Anthony Flory. And Flory still on his feet, the big fellow, walloped around the 37-yard line. A 23-yard return, and that is just the 6th pick of the year against Woodside.
Incredibly uncharacteristic of Logan Woodside, and he's thrown into the middle of the field late. Flory dropping from his linebacker position, and he's right underneath this route. Watch number 44 in the middle of your screen. He's right there. That ball was going to be behind the intended receiver anyway. That time, Appalachian State, they only brought 5. It was pretty good protection, plenty of pocket room. And Woodside just late with that football and in traffic, trying to spit it in there to Desmond Phillips.
Yeah, how about the big fellow, though?
Anthony Flory, yeah. With the ball in his hands.
Short field now for the Mountaineers. They'll hand it off. Jalen Moore. Had a tough go of it here in the first quarter, but he'll pick up 4.
The challenge in this run offense that App State chooses to use is you got to get that defense moving, especially when you run outside zone steadily. You let that second level, the linebackers start running. They might over pursue. If you don't capture the edge, it's not as if that ball's intended to go outside. They want to be able to cut it back, find a crease, and run to wherever that defensive line ends up bubbling. So far, the Rocket defensive front's done a pretty good job of maintaining their line.
2nd and 6. Lamb will throw, dumps it out underneath Ike Lewis, bobbled it and dropped it.
Well, that's 2 passes we've seen in this game. That time far more catchable. Ike Lewis has got to field that pass well and receive it for Taylor Lamb. They've tried to connect twice now, and they've been incapable of doing it. We saw earlier, even Logan Woodside on an easy throw to Swanson that resulted in an incomplete pass.
So 3rd down and 6 coming up.
Well, we haven't seen Taylor Lamb boot out of the pocket. He's such a good runner, such a mobile quarterback. The 3 receiver side is below him, and here's Lewis right here in the slot.
Some room off the right side. There's Jalen Moore. He's out of bounds inside the 20, around the 17-yard line, a pickup of 15.
So why not just try to run it behind your 2 all-conference blockers? Big Colby Gossett, and we mentioned Bo Nunn earlier, had the false start. That time they did capture the edge. Jalen Moore able to get outside. I think he's time off. A couple of extra days to recover. 25, once he gets going, might be able to put together a good performance.
Inside handoff, and Moore looked like he might have gotten hit by the umpire back there. Picks up 11. Teachy making the tackle. That'll be about a yard shy, it appears, to the 1st down line.
Really good job on the inside, blocking by a couple of freshmen, and the umpire held his ground. Give him some points there. You can't be scared if you're going to play in the middle.
Michael Henderson, our umpire, getting in there, making a play.
The 3rd safety back there with Josh Teachy.
On the ground again to Moore. Little hop at the line of scrimmage, scrambling, trying to get to the goal line. They give him the touchdown. 7 yards out, and App State is on the board.
Last year, there were no turnovers. They played a clean game when it came to protecting the football, and now a short field, and App State that has struggled to get going offensively is able to capitalize off the turnover and convert it into 6 points. It's been kind of a slow go to get started, as that's clearly in the end zone. You see Jalen Moore rolling over the goal line before he ever made contact with the ground. And the leading rusher in the Sun Belt Conference is able to power his way into the end zone and getting the Mountaineers on the board.
Back-to-back years he's led the Sun Belt in rushing. A powerful running back that squats over 600 pounds. Add some quickness to that, and you get an outstanding back in Jalen Moore. Point after, up and good, and App State takes the early lead, 7-0. 4:06 to play in the opening frame.
Well, it started with the turnover. Anthony Flory comes up with the big interception of Logan Woodside. An excellent return to give his offense a short field, and Jalen Moore doing what he does best.
There's Anthony Flory, the man who picked up his first interception of the season, the 16th for this App State defense, which is 15th in the country. And that interception set up a short field, 5 plays, 36 yards, all on the ground for Appalachian State. Put the first points on the board. This is an App State offense that has, the last 3 games, rushed for over 900 yards. And they've outscored their opponents 121-30. They're starting to feel it a little bit, huh?
Yeah, part of it, I think, is Moore getting healthy and App State figuring out what ingredients they needed along their offensive front.
Johnson trying to come out of the end zone, and he is just hammered at the 14-yard line. Big special teams play there from Akeem Davis Gaither. Hey, tomorrow night, Christmas Eve, time to get out to Hawaii for the Hawaii Bowl. 8:30 Eastern time right here on ESPN. Houston defensive tackle Ed Oliver will lead the Cougars against 9-4 Fresno State. Oliver was named the AAC Defensive Player of the Year, Outland Trophy winner. Matter of fact, he was the first and only underclassman to win that award.
That's unbelievable. That's hard to wrap your head around. I'll tell you what, Tom Herman's now the head coach of Texas, but keeping Ed Oliver there in Houston, what an unbelievable get. Arguably the best defensive lineman, certainly among them in all of college football. Not draft eligible yet, but Sunday's calling his name.
First and only. That would be a little redundant, wouldn't it?
I think it would.
Sorry,
you teed it up for me.
You usually attack on that, but thanks for laying off that.
Merry Christmas Day.
Thanks. First down from the 15. Toledo trying to find some room. Shaquille Seymour, their big back at 5'11", 220. Getting the carry, picks up 1. How does Toledo kind of get some confidence here offensively?
Well, for a little bit there, you took about 2 possessions ago, they were clicking right along until the false start. Then you get 2 false starts, and it pushes you to 3rd and almost 20. Obviously, the interception setting you back, but that first offensive possession, until they had an unforced error with the false start, the Rocket offense was moving the football well.
Another handoff and nowhere to go for Seymour.
That's back-to-back plays where this App State defensive front's able to get penetration right now. Before it was Myquan Stout in his nose tackle position. That time, Caleb Fuller. And he's a guy that's really undersized for a guy who plays with his hand on the ground at a defensive end position, only 240 pounds, but incredibly active and able to beat the block underneath, something that App State is going to do a lot of throughout this ball game. They'll show blitz and oftentimes bail out of this look.
That's exactly what they did on 3rd and 12. Still got pressure on the quarterback and a huge hit by Anthony Flory at the 15-yard line, a 4-yard gain. But you could hear the pods popping up here, popping in the press box. Seymour, not a good series for him.
Definitely not. That time, excellent pressure once again, and it was Caleb Fuller. You see some size along the Toledo offensive front. They've got some big bodies, but they have difficulty dealing with movement, and that's all they're going to get from the Mountaineer defensive front.
High kick, good hang time, and a fair catch called for at the 35-yard line, a 48-yard kick by Bailey Flint. Time to take a look at hot topics around college football, brought to you by our friends at Outback Steakhouse. And, of course, just a couple days ago, first early signing period in college football. And what did you think of that? I mean, Georgia just racked them up. Got to make you happy, deep down.
I'm an objective observer, Dave. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I wasn't too pleased with Florida State. I won't be objective. I didn't go well for the Seminoles. But
I'll say this, and partly, for Florida State is they're going through a coaching transition. Now, I think that's going to become more of the norm with an early signing period, if in fact it persists. This is the first year that they've even had it. And you see a Josh Allen for Wyoming, plays in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl the other night, didn't have to do it, was coming off the injury and then declares for the draft, but performed admirably.
Here's Moore on that carry, and he'll get it out to the 45. One other note on there, you saw Baker Mayfield, the Heisman Trophy winner. He's decided to play in the Senior Bowl, which is in this stadium. And he just becomes the second Heisman Trophy winner since Tim Tebow to play in the Senior Bowl, which will be right here in Mobile.
Isn't that remarkable? When you think about it, of course, oftentimes, especially at quarterback, if you're a Heisman Trophy winner, you're a bit of a known commodity. You know, Tim Tebow, he had some things to prove to scouts, perhaps, in his Senior Bowl. Same may be true for Baker Mayfield. A lot of that owing really to his physical stature and not his production on the field.
Flag down back at the 42. Taylor Lamb on the carry. Gonna go for 7 and a first down, but we'll wait a moment, see what this is all about.
Holding. Offense, number 86. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. It remains second down.
We've seen this option look a couple of times, especially with Taylor Lamb running it. He's kept it on a couple of occasions, that time flipping it out, and Levi Duffield ends up getting flagged for a hold. He was coming out of the offensive backfield. You know, he's got his hands outside, so you're inviting the call. Blocking Richard Olakanama. That time, though, flagged once again, and we've seen these offenses with their self-inflicted wounds, and that theme persists.
Here's Lamb. There's the pitch. There's some running room. Harrington has the first down. He crosses midfield. That'll be a gain of 15 on the option.
Well, it worked the last play, but you get flagged for holding. So you come right back, same formation. Got flagged for holding last time. You end up being a lead blocker. This time they do a great job of capturing the edge, and there's no one outside for the pitch man, Dietrich Harrington, and that time Lamb's able to get the ball outside, and they pick up the first.
Inside handoff. Inside the 45, down to the 44-yard line. Gain of 5 for Jalen Moore. You know, we were talking about a Baker Mayfield a moment ago, and these two quarterbacks we have here tonight, pretty elite company. When you talk about 25-plus TDs, 8 or fewer interceptions, only 3 guys in the FBS accomplished that this year. Taylor Lamb, Logan Woodside, and the Heisman Trophy winner Baker Mayfield.
And what's so interesting is they've all gotten there in entirely different ways.
Yes.
You know, Taylor Lamb's a play-action guy. He's going to run the football more. Logan Woodside's a pocket passer. And Baker Mayfield's a wild card.
Down the middle, and that one is incomplete, no flags. They were trying to hit Jalen Virgil, the speedster who clocks in with a 4.27 40. Couldn't shake that Toledo secondary. Justin Clark running stride for stride with him.
Well, that time you're taking a shot because you want to on second down. It's only the second downfield throw that we've seen from App State. It was a missed shot to Ike Lewis on a 3rd and long, and that time a little bit off target, but well covered by the Toledo secondary. The last time in this 3rd down and down and distance, App State ran the football. This is a different formation.
Harrington in the backfield, but Lamb looking to throw. He's going to keep it himself. He'll have the first down. Close to the 35-yard line, give him 8 yards. Harrington came away with a good block to kind of free up Lamb to pick up enough for the first down, and that'll be the final play of the first quarter.
If you're defensive coordinator Brian George for Toledo, you're pulling your hair out. You force a 3rd and long. It's well covered downfield, and Taylor Lamb, the leader of App State, is able to scramble to pick up the first, and the Mountaineers are in plus territory.
You're watching the Dollar General Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. Mobile, Alabama. Dave Neal, Matt Stinchcomb, Dawn Davenport down on the sidelines. A warm evening here at Ladd Peoples Stadium. And tell you what, this App State team can run with the best of them. You see what they've done so far through one quarter. It has been a dominating performance so far by Scott Satterfield's run game.
You know, and a lot of it has come out of the option look. Either Taylor Lamb keeping it or getting a nice pitch to the outside.
Mountaineers leading by 7, looking for more, and that one is caught. A diving Ike Lewis will make the catch inside the 15. They'll spot it around the 14-yard line, give him 23 yards on the pickup.
Yeah, first time where we've seen play action pass on first down, which is something that App State likes to do with more frequency. They finally are able to go to it in plus territory, and Taylor Lamb finally able to connect with his favorite target, Nike Lewis. They've had some difficulty earlier on.
Inside handoff, that'll go to Jalen Moore. The pile continues to move closer to the 5. 6 tough yards for Jalen Moore. We told you earlier, the guy can squat 600 pounds.
Yeah, good luck bringing that joker down, right? Jump on his back, he'll take you for a ride. You'll end up in the end zone with him.
13 carries, 67 yards.
Just showing what a workhorse he can truly be, and it's he's earning his keep, that's for sure. On a third down, he was able to get loose on a perimeter run, but it's tackle to tackle when he's been able to churn out these tough yards after contact.
Just a junior. This Jalen Moore. He'll get the carry again, working left side, has some blockers, they have a wall, and he has a touchdown. The second of the evening for one Jalen Moore. 11 on the season for number 25.
Talk about his squat numbers. This guy, he looks like he's healthier than he's been this season. He missed some time. They've been waiting for him to get going a little bit. Still led the conference just north of 90 yards and did a great job of once again getting outside, showing that inside-outside running versatility.
Chandler State to attempt the point after. Took over the kicking duties midway through the season, and he has been perfect in the field goals and perfect in point afters. 9 plays, 64 yards, 3:23 off the clock, and Jalen Moore doing what he does. That is score touchdowns.
How about run behind your all-conference left tackle? What a luxury for the Mountaineers, and Jalen Moore in the end zone again.
The Dollar General Bowl, brought to you by Taco Bell, where you can experience the power of the dollar. And Volkswagen.
Both teams had a chance to tour the USS Alabama, stationed here in Mobile Bay. Launched back in 1942, was stationed in the South Pacific during World War II, retired in 1960. Part of the bowl festivities here at the Dollar General Bowl. It's cool. Next time we come down here, I'm taking you out there. It's a great ship.
You've been on that ship before,
I know some people. We get that up for a cocktail cruise or something. See if we can't get that.
That's what they're using it for, Dave? Seems like an appropriate use for it. Unreal.
Hey, kick off your NFL Sunday with the Countdown Crew at 10 a.m. Eastern right here on ESPN. They'll have all the early breaking stories, injury updates, preview each game right up until kickoff. You can catch that streaming live on the ESPN app as well. That's 10 a.m. Eastern, Sunday NFL Countdown. 3 Toledo drives, 2 punts, 1 pick. They have totaled 40 yards.
Yeah, it's a massive understatement to say they want to get going right here. Obviously, they haven't been able to get into a rhythm really since the very first couple of series on their opening possession. App State's done an excellent job of gaining penetration and disrupting the pocket in the passing game.
Woodside, another clean pocket. Slings it out to the far side, and they're going to say incomplete, drop by Jordan Fisher. This App State defense playing at a high level right now. For more on that, let's go down to Dawn Davenport.
Yeah, Dave, I tell you what, no shortage of leaders on this App State defense, that's for sure. This is a vocal group, so much communication down here. Eric Boggs up, encouraging guys. Mike Stout talking adjustments. Caleb Fuller was running up and down the bench during that last possession. This D is feeling it right now.
Second down and 10. 3-man front, see if they bring some pressure. They have been consistent with pressure tonight against Logan Woodside, who hasn't looked comfortable at all. That handoff goes to Terry Swanson, nowhere to run. Again, Anthony Flory there, along with Akeem Davis.
Well, this is a pretty good film study by the App State defense. They were all over this play right away. Eric Boggs, watch number 45. You see him, he's running downhill right now before the ball's even snapped. They could sense that handoff off of the short motion going to the right side of the Rocket offensive front, and the Mountaineer defense was ready for it.
Third down. Dump it off underneath, and that one goes to Swanson. Nowhere to go. Pick up a 4 and another fourth down situation for the Rockets. Hayes and Boggs making a play.
Yeah, right now, I don't know that Logan Woodside, we talk about he needs to identify what App State's trying to do pre-snap. They're doing an excellent job of changing the picture of the passer for Toledo. We've seen a couple of different instances now where he sought to hit that check down due to pressure. That time App State, they only added a linebacker, but you're only bringing 4 pass rushers. That leaves 7 guys to drop back into coverage. That's a net. There's nowhere to go off that check down to pick up enough positive yardage to convert.
Rugby style kick from Flint. Dump back to return. It's a short kick that'll hit at the 40, but take a Toledo bounce to the 31-yard line. 41-yard punt. Mountaineers out in front, 14-0 here in the second quarter for the Dollar General Bowl. So far, the Mountaineers have been in control of this one. They lead 14-0 over Toledo. Well, the Progressive Bowl Challenge Cup is here at Ladd People Stadium and will be awarded to the conference that has the highest winning percentage in the postseason. That is a fancy-looking trophy right there. And over the years, a surprising conference in terms of bowl victories has picked up that trophy more than others. The Mountain West has won this championship 4 times.
I didn't see that one coming, Dave.
No,
did you?
No, I did not.
You sure didn't say it on your card?
It did. First down, and here goes Lamb, and he'll pick up 8 yards off the left side, going to short field.
It's the 3rd rush from Taylor Lamb in this game. That time he fakes the pitch and just kept it. Duck underneath, and the option game has been pretty deadly. You know, we mentioned on our coach's call, Scott Satterfield kind of intimated to us that we could anticipate Taylor Lamb keeping the football more, being more active in the run game, and allowing him to make decisions with the ball in his hands in their rushing attack, and he's done an excellent job so far.
Second down and short. They'll keep it on the ground. Adric Harrington. He will have the first down over the 45-yard line, give him 7 yards. Josh Tichy comes up, the junior safety, to make the play. But they're making him 6-7 yards downfield.
That's right. Big, you know, these are chunk plays in a run-oriented offense. And all it's doing is it's setting up a play-action shot. We've seen them take a couple. They were able to hit one to Ike Lewis on the previous drive. Will they take a shot here near midfield on first down after a couple of nice runs?
Harrington will stay in the game at running back. The true freshman out of Douglasville, Georgia, finished the season with a career-high 118 yards on the ground against Louisiana Lafayette. Hits the hole in a hurry. Breaks a tackle. He's got some room. It's a foot race. He's to the 20 and pushed out of bounds. Robinson there to save a touchdown, but a 35-yard gain for the true freshman.
No, this is just Mountaineer football at its finest. You're going to run right off the outside leg of Bo Nunn. Between he and Devin Pappenheim, they were in a 2 tight end set that time, and let the true freshman have a single landmark, 1 cut, run right there at your right tackle, stick your foot in the ground and get downhill.
First down and 10 from the 20. A lot of motion, but they'll stay to the right side, and Harrington will get it close to the 15, give him 4.
Well, this is what the Mountaineer offense can do to you, especially if they're able to get up. Because then they've got breathing room. You can't take them out of their comfort zone without scoring. And now they can stay patient. You know, they say that they just want to keep pounding you. It's body blows, one run after the next. They've been able to pick up positive yards. If you're picking up 3-4 yards, they've been picking up 6 and 7 yards. You got a defense back on their heels, and the entire playbook is available to you as a play caller.
Second down and 6. Lamb cuts it back, breaks a tackle, and he is down to the 11-yard line. A gain of 5. It should be 3rd and short coming up. Reggie Howard with the stop.
They're just showing the Rocket defense so many different looks, and some of them out of the same formation repeatedly. Taylor Lamb, a virtuoso performance. Hadn't thrown the football a lot, but doing a great job on the edge, making decisions. That time with a fake outside. Now a full house backfield from the Mountaineer offense.
Inverted wishbone from the 11.5-yard line. Jalen Moore will be the deep back. A couple of tight ends in the backfield. They'll hand it to Moore. Quick hitter on 3rd and short. And I don't think he's going to be able to get close. Maybe he got to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. So now it's 4th down, and let's see what Coach Satterfield's thinking here.
Well, we've already seen the Toledo defense able to come up with the stop. They stopped the App State offense on a 3rd and short early in the first quarter. And Coach Satterfield's saying, I want to come away with the points and add another possession to our lead.
So here is Chandler Staten, who was calm, cool, and collected. Says he learns that from his family. His father, his grandfather, his great-grandfather, all firefighters. 100 years of fighting fires in that family. "29 yards out, Staten splits the uprights, making it a 17-0 advantage for the Mountaineers. Harrington, the true freshman, showing there's more than one running back for the Mountaineers.
My left rope just went viral. Power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA.
National championship game, bringing out all the heavy hitters. Kendrick Lamar will be featured January 8th. Who will it be? Playing for the national championship in 2017. Actually, the game, of course, 2018, but 17th season. I don't need anybody
Thanks
tweeting
for walking us through that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got to help you as much as I
Calendar
can.
gymnastics.
Yeah.
What time zone are we in?
Central. Rubino will kick it away from the 5-yard line. Johnson, nowhere to go. He is stopped before he gets to the 15. And they're going to say it'll be App State football. It snuck out of there. And the Mountaineers will have it as you look at the turnover will give App State the football just inside the 15-yard line.
And Deontay Johnson, we talked about at the top of this game, that ball is clearly out as Austin Exford was the first defender there. And that ball snuck out of there. You know, even some of the App State coverage unit was unaware that it was out. And I'm not real clear why Johnson lost control of that football. It wasn't as if it got raked out. It's as if it just kind of slipped off his hip. As it is, another big turnover, setting App State up with a short field. And now special teams showing up big. And Deontay Johnson, we mentioned what a weapon he is. He's been bottled up offensively and in the special teams element as well, has not been able to get going at all. Excellent opportunity again for the Mountaineers.
Easter with that fumble recovery sets up this Mountaineer offense. They'll go with Harrington again. This time he'll lose a yard. Third tackle behind the line for this Rocket defense. Zach Quinn, the senior, making the play.
And that's what the Rocket defense needs to do. They can't allow push. You can't allow the edge to be captured. We've seen some of the Mountaineer runs able to get outside, but they have to get penetration. Whenever you're running these zone run offenses, if you can make the back cut before he wants to and bubble his track towards the line of scrimmage, meaning he can't get downhill immediately, then that is a win for your defense.
They'll fake to Harrington, throw to the outside. Colin Reed, he's inside the 10, down to around the 7-yard line. Give him 7 yards on the gain. It'll be third down at about 3.5, maybe 4.
Well, big Colin Reed, he's not a big target in the passing game for the Mountaineers. They use these tight ends a lot as blockers primarily, sometimes out of the backfield. But what's so dangerous anywhere on the field, and certainly in the red zone, is when you've got a quarterback that can run with the football. A guy that we've seen multiple times, either out of the option game, out of the zone read, able to hurt the Rocket defense, and you can see some confusion personnel-wise on the defensive side of the ball, and they take a timeout.
Yeah, only 10 players on the field, so they use a timeout with 6:42 to play. App State leading by 17, trying to add more to that total.
All ESPN coverage is streaming live on the ESPN app. Download now and take ESPN everywhere.
App State trying to stretch this 17-0 lead. They're looking at a third down and let's call it 4 as they lead the Rockets. Toledo, the MAC champs. App State, co-champs out of the Sun Belt.
Here's Lewis right here. We've seen them run a corner route earlier this season.
They will come that way to Ike Lewis. He makes the catch, but he is shy of the line to make by a couple of yards. Teachy played it well.
Yes, he did. And Teachy's a guy they've counted on to step up his play at safety. The safety play wasn't that great for Toledo to start the season. But you see Teachy singled up in coverage. He was playing off, though, and you could see the route coming from the outside receiver looking to rub. But you see Satterfield this time, he likes the distance to go and the opportunity to convert. They're going to go for it here on 4th.
Jalen Moore is your running back. They line up in that pistol, 4th down and 2. And they're going to take a timeout. So play clock was winding down to 2 seconds.
Even true freshman Thomas Hennigan was down there. Nice awareness. He saw that the clock was getting away from him, and he busted out the timeout signal.
New Year's Day, we'll have the college football playoff semifinals right here on ESPN. Number 3 Georgia, number 2 Oklahoma kick things off in the Rose Bowl at 5 o'clock Eastern time from Pasadena. Then at 8:45 p.m. it's number 4 Alabama, number 1 Clemson in the All-State Sugar Bowl. That one coming just a couple hours away from here in New Orleans. Both games, of course, streaming live on the ESPN app. Second time Georgia's been in the Rose Bowl. Last time was 1943.
It's just, what, 3/4 of a century? Folks probably remember the last trip. What's interesting is Frank Sinkwich, Heisman Trophy winner on that team. And now he's got, I think it's a great-grandson now that's on this football team for Georgia as a walk-on.
So after that discussion, Coach Satterfield has decided to bring out his kicking unit. So we'll see Chandler State in this one from, they'll spot it around the 13-yard line, making it a 23-yarder. And he hammers that one through the uprights. So a couple of State field goals from 29 and 23 has pushed the lead to 20-0. But it's been the run game for App State that has created the separation.
And App State's just been thumping away. And they've been able to get a number of different offensive contributors. If it's not Dietrich Harrington, it's Jalen Moore or even Taylor Lamb keeping the ball on the ground. It's been the outside zone. It's been the option game. It's been some inside runs. And the Mountaineers have been able to take control here in the first half. Keep in mind, some of these offensive possessions, the field position has been fueled by turnovers. A special teams turnover off a kickoff return, an interception early in the first quarter, and the App State offense able to capitalize to generate a 20-point margin.
Boy, Toledo better get something going here. This could get out of hand. I know this is a high-powered offense, but you haven't shown me much. Yeah, hadn't shown me much tonight here in Mobile.
You see so far, and you can credit the App State defensive approach. I think that they've got Logan Woodside very much on his heels at quarterback.
They've run 15 plays on offense. Well, the Mountaineers have had some great success over the years. They won 20 conference titles in their 88 seasons playing football, including 2 straight Sun Belt wins. Dominated at the FCS level in the mid-2000s, 3 straight titles, 05, 06, 07. And, of course, during that run, they were able to beat number 5 Michigan 34-32 in 07. They became the second FCS team to ever defeat a ranked FBS opponent. And they began the transition to the FBS level in 2012. And since they become eligible for a bowl game, they have been there and they have won. And you see the best records in the FBS? Look at those heavy hitters.
Wow.
And App State right there with them.
I mean, some of these are household brand, national brand teams. And App State, what a great job transitioning to the FBS.
Swing it out to the wide side of the field, and again, there's just nowhere to go. Desmond Phillips tracked down by A.J. Howard, and that'll be a loss of a yard.
That time it's horizontal passing game. You see Toledo, they're trying to move the line of scrimmage, see if they can get almost a de facto run, flipping the ball out wide, try to break a tackle, and A.J. Howard coming up from safety makes a nice open field tackle.
Second down and 11. Clock moving, 5:15 to go before halftime. Woodside stands in the pocket, dumps it underneath, and that one is dropped by Swanson. And he had a chance to turn and make a couple of moves, perhaps.
We've seen Woodside drop the ball off, or attempt to anyway, underneath, but they've been on third downs, and it wasn't going to be enough. At that time, Swanson, if he catches that ball cleanly, he's got a chance to turn and run and make this more third and manageable. Second drop we've seen from Swanson.
Boy, if they don't get a first down here, they may not get the football back with the way App State's able to run it before halftime. If they do, there won't be a whole lot of time. And there will be a false start on the near side, and Deontay Johnson just took off early.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense, number 3, 5-yard penalty. It remains third down.
Well, that's the second time we've seen Deontay Johnson flagged in this game for a false start. And you know my philosophy on that, when a wide receiver's jumping off, it's oftentimes because he's expecting this football. You see him right here down at the bottom of your screen, singled up, the safety's underneath. He's thinking, look, man, I'm going to get loose and behind the coverage of Shamar Jean-Charles. And you could see it right there. They were going to get the look that they were looking for. And Deontay Johnson just a little bit early off the line.
So now they need 16 yards to pick up the first down.
See if App State actually comes this time. They'll bait up those linebackers in the A-gap. See right here? They've been bailing them all night.
4-man rush, pass over the middle. It's caught at the 39-yard line. There's a first down, a gain of 20. It goes to Jordan Fisher, the tight end.
Well, it's been quiet for Deontay Johnson, but Jordan Fisher has popped up a couple of times. Not a major target typically, but gets behind the coverage.
A big hit right at the line of scrimmage. Swanson hit by Noel Cook.
And Noel Cook, as you mentioned earlier, he's getting some more time in this game. Rashad Towns out. Just banged up top to bottom, and Cook bringing the wood on the first down.
Woodside play fake. Dump it up underneath, and that one goes to Swanson. He's hit immediately. He'll pick up 4. That's Cook again making a play. How about 4 tackles already here in the first half for a guy that wasn't playing a whole lot until the injury to Rashad Towns.
Cook's showing up big so far for App State. What's hurting Toledo a little bit, a high snap from Jefferson, the center. Threw off the timing of that play. The play fake was basically meaningless from Logan Woodside because he was too busy trying to field the snap.
Third down and 5. 4-man rush. Woodside takes off, and he's not going to make it. They're going to spot him down at the 47, and he'll be a couple of yards shy. Boggs and Markel Clark came in to make the play.
App State's done a great job. They flood the coverage. once again with 7 defenders. And now Jason Candle saying, look, we got to get something going. 3.5 minutes to play. And a huge 4th down opportunity. If you're App State, you get a stop here. And once again, you will have gotten the ball back to your offense in plus territory for the 3rd time in this ball game. It's a pretty big gamble if you're Jason Candle.
He's going to take a timeout here, let that play clock wind down. And there is the timeout. It'll be 4th down and 2 coming up. And rolling the dice here with 3:08 if they decide to go for it. Time to get an update. Let's head to the studio. Thanks, Adnan. 3:08 to go here. And Toledo thinking about what they want to do. They're on the minus side of the field, looking at a 4th down and 2, but they have had no success offensively other than a big 3rd down completion. They picked up 20 on a 3rd and 16. Outside of that, there's been nothing to talk about.
And the rush yards have been almost non-existent. You're looking at a 4th and 2. And you got to be thinking right here, obvious passing down. If you're App State, they run it. There's been no semblance of balance for the Rockets offense in this game.
Woodside. This time Swanson holds on to it, has the 1st down and a lot more. He'll be dropped at the 35-yard line. An 18-yard pickup on 4th down.
And an easy pickup. You see the Rocket offense, and it's just an easy swing pass out to Swanson. Finally able to connect in the passing game with the back out of the backfield and a big 4th down conversion.
Woodside has time. Throws it into the band.
I think the sousaphone caught it over there. They're down there getting ready for halftime. Woodside wisely ditches that ball, though. Nowhere to go with it. Only a 3-man route, and Eric Boggs from his linebacker spot able to get pressure on Woodside yet again. There haven't been many opportunities for Woodside to throw off of a clean platform in the pocket.
Woodside being chased. Throws, pass caught on the far side. That'll be a gain of about 7. They're going to say he made the reception or not. Let's see. Nope, they're going to say incomplete, out of bounds. They're looking for Richards. So now it's 3rd down.
You see Woodside as he escaped the pocket, and as Richards, he's out of bounds. It looked perhaps maybe he had drugged that right toe. The line judge is all over it. And yet another 3rd and long. Earlier in this possession, we saw Woodside able to connect.
Timeout, Toledo. Their 3rd and final timeout of the half. This is a 30-second timeout, 30 seconds. Correction, Toledo was elected to take this as a 60-second timeout, 60 seconds.
So 3rd down and 10 coming up. The 10th play of this drive. Hey, on Christmas Day, our Monday Night Football matchup has Nick Foles and the Eagles hosting Derek Carr and the Raiders. It's Monday Night Countdown, kicking off our coverage at 7:30 Eastern from Philadelphia. It's kind of strange to say Nick Foles and the Eagles.
Yeah, last week we're up there at North Dakota State. Carson Wentz, who's enjoyed a phenomenal season. Just proof positive that not only is that a unbelievably dominant program at the FCS level, but they're generating professional caliber football players. Hard to see Carson Wentz go down, but Nick Foles, what a luxury to have him as a backup quarterback.
North Dakota State, by the way, has won 6 straight games over FBS opponents. That's how powerful that program is. Looking at James Madison in the national title game, coming up January 6th from Frisco, Texas. Here, Logan Woodside in this Toledo offense. 10 plays on this drive. It's their best drive of the evening. They need points for sure. That might be the understatement of the evening. 2:36 to go in a 20-0 ball game.
Here's his favorite target on third downs, Deontay Johnson.
Woodside tripped up and dropped at the 40-yard line. A loss of 4. Caleb Fuller came in to make the sack. He now has 2.5 on the year.
It was only a 3-man rush, and you've got to be able to hold up. Look where Fuller is. He's lined up over the center. Right there on the inside, he's working against Sammy Kassem again. And this, the quickness of the inside rushers. You know, you've seen this before. You talk about defensive ends sliding inside. Only 3 down linemen, and they just can't handle that quickness. I end up having to kick this ball away.
I'm a little surprised. You're down 20-0, right? You're kicking it from the ball's inside the 40-yard line.
You got 4th and 10 plus right here. You got to think your conversion percentage has got to be
give it
low.
a shot. It's a bowl game, man. You're down 20-0, and they're going to get it to 17. So what? 13-yard difference.
2 quarters to play. You score 39 points a game coming into this thing. You got to think about the message it sends to your team. I think we're going to still go for it with a minute and a half to play and 4th and 10 plus.
23 yards, by the way. It's that math thing getting me again. But look, I'm just saying, I'm not down there playing.
Be aggressive, right?
Right, man.
I can see situationally why you might consider it, but I think part of it is you got to think of the mentality of your sideline. Right now you're in a 3-possession game. You got a half of football to play. There's a minute and a half left, and yet we're going to go for it on 4th and almost, 15 yards. It almost smacks of desperation.
Are we not desperate right now?
A lot of ball to play yet, Dave. Okay.
Harrington.
Sell the comeback, brother.
True.
We've seen this is bowl season. A lot of craziness can happen, although you're right. It has been a largely dominant half of football from App State, but they've been aided by some pretty serious miscues. You think about the interception, the short field, the special teams turnover. They've given App State's offense the ball within the red zone. And they've been able to build those 20 points on their side of the scoreboard.
Harrington getting a lot of work here at the Dollar General Bowl, and you can see why. The true freshman out over the 35. Another big chunk of turf. This one goes for 19 yards.
Well, they talk about the big 2 at App State. That's their right guard and right tackle, Colby Gossett and Bo Nunn. But Victor Johnson, he was all Sun Belt this year too and was surprised to get it at left tackle. They've been able to capture that run a couple of different times running behind big number 75.
Lamb deep down the middle, high throw, looking for Ike Lewis. Trying to take a shot with 36 seconds to go. Teachy went up high and came down awkwardly, and he is back on the turf.
That's a couple of times, though. We've seen downfield throws twice now to Lewis anyway, when he's been the target from Taylor Lamb, and the ball's been a little bit off the mark. That time Khalil Robinson was running underneath that route. Teachy was over top of it. Lamb probably just trying to get over top. You see number 27, and oh yeah, you see Lewis land on the back of Teachy's right ankle. Look at the elevation from Lewis. That's a long way for him to come down and land on Teachy's ankle. We mentioned Teachy came up, made a nice open field tackle on one of the red zone possessions earlier in this game. He's performed admirably this year. Had 14 tackles versus Tulsa during the regular season. It looks like he's going to return to this one. He walks off under his own power.
Lamb looking to throw it again, but this time will tuck it and run, and he will fall around the 48-yard line. That's going to be good enough for a first down. Give him 10 yards on that carry. Jack Lynch making another stop, the senior linebacker.
Scramble yards. Second time it's popped up in this game. One was to extend a drive This time to pick up yards to get the ball midfield.
Lamb will throw. That ball is caught inside the 25-yard line by Thomas Hennigan, the true freshman, coming up with a huge catch here late in the first.
And then the true freshman, showing the awareness, spins around to the official standing right there to make sure he gets the timeout signal. And we talk about some of these new faces for App State. Look at that concentration and adjustment to the ball in the air. You know, that's a contested catch. You see right there, Trevon Mathis. That's not bad coverage. He's underneath that route, and Hennigan works his way back inside, comes back to the football for his quarterback, then hops up and gets a quick timeout to the referee.
See those 4 TDs in their last game of the regular season. The young man tied the school record. His 7 touchdown receptions, tied for first among freshmen in the country. And he's third among freshmen in the NCAA with his 44 catches coming into this game. He's a guy you'll see a lot of down the road.
One of 2 true freshmen that are big contributors to this offense. The other is Noah Hannon, and he touches the ball every single time from his center spot.
That time, Hennigan, there should be some flags, and there they are. They come out. Hennigan was dragged to the turf by Mathis.
And Mathis, he panics on this in coverage. That ball came out way earlier than Lamb wanted to. He had to throw it under duress. Colby Gossett got beat right now, beaten by a spin move. And Lamb was throwing really for one of the few times in this game with pressure in his face.
Pass interference, defense, number. That's a 15-yard penalty. Results in an automatic first down.
Well, Mathis clearly grabs a jersey here.
You see the shot, the ball's coming out early, and you see the grab from Mathis on Hennigan. He's all over him because of it. He's kind of put a leash on the true freshman, reeled him in. Easy call for the official.
So 1st and goal from the 8. There is 1 timeout left for App State. They'll run a little reverse and try to throw off of it. Nothing there for Malik Williams, and he'll be pushed out of bounds. Took 8 seconds off the clock. Taylor Lamb was trying to shake free to catch the pass, but nowhere to go, and here comes the kicking unit.
Kind of the worst case scenario really right there, because it's so slow developing. If it doesn't score, throw it away and save a little bit of time. Malik Williams, it's his 2nd pass attempt on the season. He threw one for a touchdown earlier this year, but able to move the football, aided by the penalty, and able to steal 3 points here at the end of the half.
Staten is hit from 29 and 23. This one from 25. And he missed it. His first miss of the year for Staten. But App State dominates on the ground. 206 yards rushing to just 9, and they lead it 20-0 after 2 quarters of football. Time for us to get it to Adnan Verk in the studio, along with Joey and Jesse. Guys, it's all yours.
You're watching Capital One Bowl Mania.
And welcome back to the Dollar General Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. Glad People Stadium here in Mobile, Alabama, where it has been all Appalachian State. 20-0 over the MAC champions, the Toledo Rockets, who have had a tough time trying to figure out this App State defense. They've had a tough time trying to slow down the Mountaineers rushing game. Dave Neal back alongside Matt Stinchcomb. And Matt, this is shocking. I was expecting something a little bit different than this, a 20-0 game after 2 quarters.
Yeah, we certainly, I think, anticipated more offense out of Toledo. Take nothing away from the App State defense's efforts so far. But I think Logan Woodside really had a difficult time, especially in the first half, getting going and getting comfortable in this game. Part of that's a function of no rushing attack, no semblance of one anyway. So far from the Rocket offense, Appalachian State has done an excellent job of controlling the line of scrimmage with their speed. They're undersized up front, but they're incredibly active, and so far, the Rocket offensive line has not been able to handle some of those undersized bodies.
206 rushing yards to 9. But Toledo will get the football first, and they'll bring it out to the 25-yard line after that touchback. Well, the App State rush game has been in full force tonight.
And the staple is the outside zone. So you'll see the offensive front. They're going to block zone to the right, but you'll have a lead blocker and Levi Duffield come to the opposite direction, and they're running option looks as a counter. This time, again, it'll be a zone to the left. Duffield crosses the formation. He ends up being a lead blocker up. This time, a pitch to the outside, able to convert for first down yardage. But the changeup then can be, it's not always a counter and it's not always an option. The front blocks to the left. The lead blocker goes to the left. Jalen Moore walks in untouched on an outside zone, and that is the staple of what the Appalachian State offense wants to do.
Boy, a bobbled handoff. That one goes to Swanson. He'll get a couple of yards. Well, you look at the combination of Harrington and Jalen Moore, and 11.4 yards a carry for the true freshman, Datrick Harrington.
And Harrington, you can see, is it Jalen Moore, probably more physical of the two runners, but Harrington's got an additional gear. And you could see that when he was able to reach the linebacker level and burst into the secondary.
Both those guys coming back to Boone, North Carolina next season. Oh, big hole off the right side for Swanson. And he'll have it to midfield, and see if that doesn't jumpstart the Rockets on offense after a 24-yard pickup.
Well, that's what the Rocket offense has lacked the entire first half. And they're able to get on an inside run. Swanson just gets downhill right now and pierces the Appalachian State defensive front.
They're going to run with Swanson again. He'll pick up 3 yards. Let's go downstairs to Dawn Davenport.
Well, Dave, we got to respond to adversity. That's what head coach Jason Candle told his kids at the half. He said they have got to play harder. They've done a good job of responding to adversity so far this season, but he didn't see it in that first half. He said offensively, they have to find some rhythm, and they have to do it early. It looks like his guys are answering with that rhythm so far here in the start of the second half.
We'll see if that explosive play on the run by Swanson could help get the run game started, but they'll throw it here, and the pass is caught. That'll be another first down as that one goes to McKinley Lewis. Gain of 8.
And now the Rocket offense just has to avoid what they ran into in the first half. This is reminiscent of their very first possession of the football game. Now avoid the false start, the unforced penalty to get you off schedule.
Swanson cuts it back. Terry Swanson averaging 5.7 yards a carry this year, 110 yards a game, trying to replace Kareem Hunt, who was off to the NFL and putting on quite a show with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Talk about some big shoes to fill. I mean, this is the number 2 leading rusher in the NFL right now, and Kareem Hunt, not an easy thing to do, but Terry Swanson, up into this ball game, has done so rather ably. It's been a slow game so far, but a fast start here in the third quarter.
They'll fake it to Swanson, then a little shoulder shimmy and going down the near sideline, and that one is picked off. Desmond Franklin over the 35 and out of bounds at the 37-yard line. An easy interception for Desmond Franklin. Just ran right underneath it like it was a fly ball to center field.
Well, Desmond Franklin effectively played it like a center fielder. He's got eyes on the quarterback all the way. App State brought pressure. Deontay Johnson, he was working outside on Clifton Duck, but he had help all the way over the top from his safety and Desmond Franklin, who was playing on that side of the field along the hash. And that's an easy interception. Those are 2 bad balls that we've seen from Logan Woodside in this game. One interception to Anthony Flory, dropping from his linebacker position. It's almost as if those 2 picks where the App State defender was the intended receiver.
There's Moore off the left side. Man, does he run with authority. Over the 45 to the 48-yard line, 9 yards. That'll bring up a second down and about a yard and a half, maybe 2.
Yeah, so many times we've already seen in this game, App State's been able to capitalize. They've gotten a touchdown and a field goal off of Toledo turnovers. It's the first time where they've gotten the ball on the minus side of the field.
Go with Moore again, cuts it back, and I don't think he got much, maybe a half a yard. So now you're looking at 3rd down and a yard. Jack Lynch, the former walk-on linebacker, making the stop.
Jack Lynch did a great job staying home and reading the backdoor cut by Jalen Moore. You see that offensive front selling out to one side. That time they were running hard zone left into the boundary, and Jack Lynch did a great job staying backside for the backdoor cut.
Jack Lynch, no Division I scholarship offers, walked on as a preferred walk-on to Toledo. Didn't even know if he's going to get to play, and now all he's done is lead the team in tackles. I don't know, that's going to be close. Lynch coming up to make the play on Moore again. And he may be a couple feet shy. It's going to be 4th down.
And it was Jack Lynch again, coming up from his weak side linebacker position, and did a great job of striking. And Jalen Moore, he fought to try to get the yardage, and it wasn't enough. A fantastic play by Jack Lynch.
4th and inches. Moore. Lamb will keep it. And I think he's going to have it by about a half a yard.
Oh, Lamb, he ended up, he's trying to read right there along the edge. And almost as if Lamb kind of tripped himself up. Zach Quinn was waiting at home at defensive end. And watch Lamb as he was trying to cut back underneath. Man, he might have gotten a generous spot there for them to rule that a 1st down. And Lamb ended up stumbling a little bit that time, trying to turn the run up to pick up the yardage needed.
Took him 3 plays to get a yard and a half.
We've seen Toledo, especially in the 2nd quarter, better red zone defense, forcing field goal attempts.
Here's Moore. Moore had a substantial break in the 2nd quarter as Datrick Harrington got much of the work. And if they can keep Moore fresh, Moore's a guy that certainly can carry him 30-plus times a game, but if you can keep him at 25, keep him fresh, he'll be tough in the 4th quarter. And certainly once he got healthy, banged up middle of the year, missed a couple of games, but got healthy, and you saw the numbers over the final stretch of the season, over 550 yards rushing. Lamb will pull it back and throw. And there's Lewis making the catch at the 33-yard line. That'll be another 1st down. That's a gain of 16.
The time that was afforded Taylor Lamb is the difference. It's a short rollout, a half rollout, and Lewis started all the way on the right side of the formation. He doesn't catch this football until he's all the way across the field outside of the numbers on the opposite side. He ran a half rollout from Taylor Lamb. Plenty of time to deliver the football downfield, and Ike Lewis, once again, another connection on the downfield play-action passing game.
2 tight end set, they'll hand it off. There goes Moore. Jalen Moore with a stiff arm and a touchdown. 31 yards, his 3rd of the evening.
I was wondering when they were going to go back right. You know, they've been trying, they ran left. You mentioned they took 3 tries to pick up a yard. They were trying the left side of the front. Victor Johnson's done a good job, but you're running behind a redshirt freshman at left guard. You hit a big play downfield, and you come back to your bread and butter. You run behind your 2 seniors at right guard and right tackle.
No, this was all started with an interception. the second of the evening. And every time Toledo's turned it over, App State has made them pay. The 35-yard return would lead to this Jalen Moore touchdown. His 15th career 100-yard game.
17.
The Dollar General Bowl, brought to you by Dollar General. Save time, save money, every day. The Quick Silver Card from Capital One. Earn unlimited 1.5% cash back every purchase, everywhere. And Domino's. Oh, yes, we did.
Well, on Wednesday, seniors from both these teams visited the University of South Alabama Children's and Women's Hospital. Of course, the guys delivered some toys in the holiday season to the children, took some pictures, signed some autographs. Just good times for everybody for a couple of days, and certainly wish everybody out there happy holidays as we move closer to Christmas.
It's one of my favorite elements of the bowl season is the community outreach that a lot of the teams get to participate in the host city.
Well, certainly Jalen Moore has enjoyed his trip to Mobile. He has given out a lot of love, and why not? He has pushed his total up to 117 yards, 3 touchdowns today. His 5th 100-yard game this season, his 15th of his career. And every time you interview him about a good game, the first thing he does is turn that around and give credit to the guys up front. You'd love a guy like that, wouldn't you?
I do love guys like that. That's a smart kid right there. That's no dummy. That guy recognizes, look, man, I can only outrun 1, maybe 2 guys at a time. How many tackles do you want me to break? Go there and show some love to your all-conference senior right tackle and guard.
Well, Toledo had a little bit of success on their last drive before the interception. This time they handed off to Shaquille Seymour, no gain. It's been hard for the redshirt freshman to get it going today. Stringer making the tackle from his outside linebacker spot.
You know, really, other than the run that Terry Swanson ripped off on the previous possession before the pick, there's been no running room versus this App State front. They are so active, and so far right now it's run-down stunts and motion from the defensive line spots, using their undersized quickness to beat the size of the Toledo offensive line.
Phillips goes in motion behind the formation, and they'll swing it out that way. A flag comes in the middle of that line of scrimmage and just nowhere to run. Phillips is swarmed by 3-4 white jerseys over there on the sidelines. No gain on the play. We'll wait on this flag.
When we talk about the absence of the run game, the downfield passing attack as well, completely vacant in this game for Toledo. There's either not enough time or nowhere to go with the football.
Holding. Offense, number 67. The penalty is declined. Brings up 3rd down.
Last left guard, Sammy Cassom once again. You see him lined up right here. You see he's uncovered at this point in time, and Caleb Fuller, who has just been a menace all game long. That time was lined up outside over left tackle Elijah Nkansa. Came inside once again. We've seen him lined up inside over the center as well, as he is on this snap, and has just been a demon.
Fuller has a sack tonight. 3-man rush, quick throw, and again, there's just no room to run. It's almost like they got 13 guys out there.
Well, right now, App State's able to get home with 3 and 4 rushers. That time you only bring 3. That leaves 8 in coverage. And when you've got 10-plus yards, there's no reason to be rolled up in tight coverage. Allow the reception in front of you, rally to the ball, and make the tackle. And so far in this game, there has not been much of an opportunity for a catch and then run after catch for the Rockets receivers. Excellent open field tackling, and really a good job on early downs by the App State defense to force these 3rd and obvious situations.
So Flint back to punt again. Good kick, angled toward the sidelines, and will bounce out of bounds at the 28, 46-yard punt. But this has been all Appalachian State. They lead it by 27. Back in Mobile, where Appalachian State putting on a show right now, 27-0 over Toledo. And for Taylor Lamb, he's wrapping up his what has been an exceptional career as the quarterback for the Mountaineers, a young man who has football in his blood. His dad, current head coach at Mercer, played quarterback at Furman, also coached there. His grandfather, Ray Lamb, played QB at Tennessee Wesleyan and was his high school liaison for Georgia back in the day. His uncle Hal is a high school coach in Calhoun. I think they just won a state championship in football as well.
They did.
Taylor led his high school to 2 state championships, and he's trying to win his 3rd bowl game, leading the Mountaineers here in the Dollar General Bowl. That one is to Harrington. And, of course, his mom has been a big contributor to this team as the team photographer. And for more on that story, let's go down to Dawn.
Yeah, guys, she has. She actually started taking pictures of Taylor in high school because she couldn't stand to sit in the stands. So when he signed with Appalachian State, she told the athletic director, hey, guess what? A photographer comes with him. And she's been doing it his entire career. Now, she told me that he's really proud of the pictures that she takes. She gets requests from him and his teammates, and it's been just a really fun thing. She said it was a little emotional at the beginning of this game, knowing that it was his final game.
Quick option pitch to Harrington. That's read well by the Rockets. You know, if you go back to the beginning of Taylor's career, his first game he ever played was against the University of Michigan in 2014. They lost that game, but he came in the 4th quarter. The Mountaineers were trailing 49-14. He led the team on a 96-yard, 19-play scoring drive. 2 weeks later was named the starter and hasn't looked back since. And Mama, what's she going to do? I mean, she has been, you know, usually it kind of wraps up for mom when they get to college, but not for her.
She'll take pictures of him as a grad assistant somewhere. This might be his last game on the field. But I'm confident he'll be down there on the sidelines as he aspires to be a head coach.
So on 3rd down, Lamb under pressure, gets the pass away underneath. It's to Harrington. He's out over the 35 to the 36, but shy of the 1st down. He picks up 14 yards, and that'll bring up a 4th down situation.
Only the 2nd pressure by Toledo's defense all game. We mentioned coming into this, they don't anticipate a lot of blitz. Last year, in the same matchup, the Rockets defense blitzed 1 time versus App State. This is the only 2nd time I can remember from the 2nd level. You see Taylor Lamb taking a shot. There's been a relatively clean pocket and launch points for the quarterback of App State all game.
Mom won't miss those kind of plays, that's for sure. Fair catch call for at the 20-yard line. So Toledo's defense makes a stop to get the football back. 4:29 to go, 3rd quarter. App State leading 27-0. Mama's happy. Be sure to see Star Wars: The Last Jedi, now playing in theaters and IMAX theaters everywhere. That thing is racking up some money.
You can go see it more than once. It doesn't have to be just that one
trip. We were told we needed to go more than once. So
it's a layered performance. You can't just capture what's going on in that thing one time.
1st down and 10 for the Rockets. They'll hand it off inside to Swanson. Again, no room to run, only a couple of yards. All told, Toledo has rushed it for 39 yards tonight. 243 on the ground for App State.
And a chunk of those on the 1 carry on the opening possession by Swanson. Otherwise, it's been really tough sledding. And we talked about that coming into this game, the desire by Toledo to be balanced, and they have been, but not in this contest.
Down 27-0. They're continuing to run the football. But now it'll be 3rd down, and let's call it 8 as Caleb Fuller makes another tackle, that one behind the line. He's had a heck of a game. 4 tackles, 3 behind the line, including a sack and a pressure.
You see him so far. Caleb Fuller so active. He was one of the guys we mentioned early on just how undersized he really is. And defensive coordinator Nate Woody said, look, I want to beat you with speed. I want to have more speed on the field than you do. And so far, speed has outdueled size in this contest.
Bringing 5 this time, and Woodside dropped inside the 10-yard line. Caleb Fuller was the first one there, and then Boggs cleans it up. A loss of 9.
It's been kind of a nightmare for the Toledo offensive front. See, this time here's Fuller, and you're going to see Boggs. He's going to loop all the way around, and it's kind of a meet me at the quarterback. Fuller just wins right now. It was a great job of just dipping that outside shoulder, and he's the reason why Woodside got flushed right into the arms of Boggs.
Ball will be down at the 45-yard line, a 42-yard punt. Hey, Friday at 8:30 Eastern, we'll have the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic from AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Sam Darnold and the number 8 USC Trojans squaring off against J.T. Barrett and number 5 Ohio State. That should be a lot of fun. You can catch that also if you're moving around on the ESPN app.
And as we mentioned earlier, you know, one of those 3 contests with conference champions represented in it. The other being the Rose Bowl with Oklahoma and Georgia in the college football playoff game. And then, of course, this game here tonight.
Little play action. Coming near side. Pass is caught at the 42-yard line. That one goes to Jalen Virgil. That's a pickup of 13 yards.
Able to hit Virgil downfield. Came off of Mike Lewis, had a chance for another home run ball on the post. But right now, App State continually making plays.
There's a guy that runs a 4.27 40, runs a 10.400 meters. Was a standout track star in high school. Actually was offered by Division I schools some scholarship to run track. That one's batted away at the last moment. Mathis coming up with the play.
And he's 6'2". I mean, you think Jalen Virgil, not only can he run himself open, but even if he's covered, guy that can show some wingspan and a big catch radius.
Lamb 7 out of 12, throwing the football for 104 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Moore cuts it back and almost snuck through the traffic. He'll get it to the 35.5-yard line, a pickup of 6.
I just love the patience. You know, you run it there, the point of attack is all buttoned up. A great job that time along the front by Toledo. And Moore just patiently waits for that crease to emerge on a backside cut. He ends up running to the left side of the formation. It just doesn't hit outside. It ends up going straight downhill. He's got such a great feel for that zone run.
Pass a little bit low. It'll be incomplete. And the Rockets will force a 4th down situation. 1:08 to go here in the 3rd quarter.
As we mentioned a little bit earlier, you know, the Rockets, they've had a hard time, obviously, in the run. They've given up a couple of shots downfield. You see App State just rolling the dice here with the lead. And this one right here is kind of it's one of those drives you give up a 4th down conversion and you wonder how much fight would be left in your team, as once again, Toledo's running defenders out. It's going to have an illegal substitution now.
1st down will be coming up on a 4th down and 4, as there were 12 on the field for Toledo.
Well, they had 10 on the field initially, which is the 2nd time. They called a timeout earlier to try to catch it, and they ended up running 2 defenders on. So you go from 1 shy to 1 too many. You can see the frustration of Jason Candle. He can't believe it. On a
illegal
4th down.
substitution on the 12 players on the field at the snap. It's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot and results in a 1st down.
So you take a look at it. There's 10 players on the field now, and on runs 2. Get a flag. Easy 1st down on a 4th down play. 2nd time in this game.
Ooh, that is not a happy coach in Jason Candle.
There's not much to be happy about. with that situation. That's a gimme.
The MAC Coach of the Year. Lamb, straight drop. Ike Lewis with a catch inside the 5-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal, Mountaineers.
His favorite target, and you can see why. Lined up in the slot, a little double move. Fakes the post, works to the corner. And Ike Lewis, who started the season outside, worked his way back inside slot position, and has been an explosive playmaker for the Mountaineers all season.
Jalen Moore stopped at the line of scrimmage. Might have gotten it down to the 3, but a big collision at the line of scrimmage, and that'll bring up 2nd down and goal. He already has 3 touchdowns today, does Jalen Moore. The 3rd quarter has come to a stop. App State has added to their lead. They led 20-0 at halftime. They have stretched it out to 27-0. 15 more minutes of football from Mobile coming up after this. App State has built a 27-0 lead. Part of the reason is because Toledo has had some miscues.
Well, it started out early on. Toledo was actually able to retain possession on what would be muff punt, but Deontay Johnson, who is a lethal return man, fumbles it in the kick return game. We've had drop passes and a couple of bad interceptions from Logan Woodside, who has had an unbelievable career for Toledo at quarterback, but has had a really rough night here tonight versus App State's defense.
But App State about to perhaps pick up some more points. A little razzle-dazzle, quick snap to Moore. They'll turn the corner with Malik Williams, and he gets in there for a touchdown.
Well, towards the end of the 2nd quarter, they tried a little razzle-dazzle. That time a direct snap to Jalen Moore. He flips it to Williams. At the end of the 2nd, Williams was going to throw it back to Taylor Lamb. That time they said, just forget it, run it on in. And now they're going to go with the empty bucket on the point after. The empty bucket formation here. They see if the point after, the field goal block team, if they line up out there. If they don't, you just flip it out there for an easy 2-point conversion.
Point after is up and good. Malik Williams, a true freshman out of Chester, South Carolina. You see Lamb, look at Lamb just kind of walking around the line of scrimmage, playing dumb, and then behind him, a little reverse toss to Williams.
We didn't get a great look at it. Watch Lamb's block. That's number 11 right there. He did a great job holding off, and that's Ola Adaney, who's a 2nd-team All-MAC defensive end.
And Adaney had to sit out the first half because of a targeting violation in their last game, so he didn't play in the first half, but getting some action here in the 2nd half.
Hey guys, funny story. Coach Satterfield came over to the sideline. His wife is down here with the team. Before that touchdown, told her the play call. She turned around to the team and said, "Get ready for a touchdown. This is my favorite play." She was right. Have you ever seen that?
I have not.
We're taking requests from friends and family down here now.
That's
maybe
right.
Part of her Christmas gift, maybe. What do you want to run right here, dear? Play caller.
Coach Satterfield, a former quarterback in his own right, talking to Taylor Lamb about the block. Tell him you got to get down a little bit lower.
Yeah, Coach Satterfield's coached a lot of ball. I mean, what does he know about blocking out there on the front?
Oh, that hit a rocket player and scoots away. And, boy, it's just turned into a comedy of errors right now for this Toledo team. They'll be backed up inside the 10-yard line. That hit one of the up backs, but there they are still talking about the block.
Yeah, Lamb and Satterfield. That's a family affair down there for the Mountaineers. Satterfield's taking play suggestions from his wife, and Taylor's mom's down there taking pictures of everybody, bringing the cousins. See if anybody wants to come down there, maybe be equipment manager. As you see Allison Lamb, Taylor Lamb's mom. She knows a thing or two. Maybe she's got a couple of play calls she wants to get in there.
Logan Woodside, 12 of 20, 85 yards. Another big hit. Every time they throw underneath, somebody is there in a white jersey. Anthony Flory hits Art Tompkins. Boy, Flory has hit some folks tonight.
He's hit some folks, caught a few balls. That's a full night for a linebacker. Brought pressure again, too. Woodside had to unload that football or he was going to take a shot. They brought a corner blitz. App State is not laying off of the gas.
Flory, just a junior out of Fort Lauderdale, played his ball at American Heritage High School. Another year up in Boone for that linebacker. Nice throw. Best throw of the night by Woodside. That'll be complete to Johnson. 17-yard pickup.
And a good pocket to throw from. And now I think you're seeing a glimpse anyway, if you haven't seen Toledo play much this year, of what the offense can look like. And there have been moments when the Rocket offense has been able to get into rhythm, but it has not been very often.
Four-man rush. Another one that's dumped underneath, and this one is caught by Tompkins as he is hit at the 34. That'll pick up 7. Tay Hayes making the tackle for the Mountaineers.
Tay Hayes, the opposite of Clifton Duck. The two corners for App State, pretty accomplished guys. Came into this game, a big part of why they had 15 picks before this contest even started, because of the play of Tay Hayes and Duck.
Ooh, nice little move. Tompkins picking up the first down out to the 42-yard line. A run of 8.
Nice cut from Tompkins. You'll see 45, Eric Boggs. He's coming screaming downhill. Anthony Flory as well. Both linebackers for the Mountaineers miss on the tackle. Tompkins able to get it upfield enough to convert.
Another pass up underneath the linebackers to Tompkins. Will pick up 5.
You can see App State almost conceding these throws. You see 3 down linemen. They brought a second level rusher with only 4. And they're nearly getting there. But Woodside able to drop it off underneath. And if you hit it on early downs and pick up positive yards, you're able to stay on schedule.
Tompkins goes in motion. He'll split to the wide side of the field. Second down. 3-man rush this time. Woodside looking to throw, and he'll say that pass is caught. A gain of 11. As that one is caught by Bryce Mitchell, the true freshman out of Toledo.
It's just like a jump ball. Oh, yeah. Bryce Mitchell he had his left foot already out of bounds. That'll be an illegal touch.
Yeah, they're talking about it now on the sideline.
Ruling on the field is that the player went out of bounds on his own, jumped in the air and caught it before reestablishing. Therefore, the ball is considered to be incomplete. Third down.
Good vision by our crew.
You see right there, not hard to spot. Obviously out of bounds with that left foot, wasn't forced there. Willingly went out of bounds and then never established himself back in bounds before he makes this catch. In some ways, it's kind of been that type of a night for Toledo.
Now Tompkins comes near side. Empty set again for the Rockets. 3-man rush, and Woodside will be dropped. That time it's Godwin picking up the sack. A loss of 11.
Ends up being Godwin, and he's up here off of the edge, lined up off the edge, and just wins right now. As you see, backup left tackle Cameron Bell in there for Elijah Nkansa. That is the 7th tackle for loss for this Mountaineer defense tonight.
App State defense will give their offense the football back at the 16-yard line. All high fives and hugs over there on the Mountaineer sideline as they lead big. Toledo came into this touchdown or so favorite, and that score does not indicate that at all. 34-zip. App State has just put on a show. Jalen Moore, 125 yards on the ground. The rush game in general for App State has been fantastic, as it has been all season.
The scoreboard operator here tried to get him 7 points. This was when App State scored. That's the only time we've seen a number on Toledo's side of the scoreboard all night long.
Marcus Williams with that carry. He's been a little banged up, so we haven't seen a whole lot of him tonight. But he's getting some work here in the fourth quarter.
You mentioned that run game, though, and it really hadn't mattered who was carrying it. You know, Taylor Lamb's done a good job of making decisions in the option game. Jalen Moore's shown excellent patience. Patrick Harrington, the true freshman, did a great job. Explosive runs, just getting downhill quickly. It's been an excellent collective effort.
Well, Taylor Lamb, as he wraps up his career, making his 49th straight start. You know, the next question becomes, who is the guy next, right, in line? Zach Thomas, Jacob Huseman, 2 quarterbacks on the roster now, will certainly be battling it out. They were able to land a quarterback during recruiting, though it's a pretty wide open job when we were talking to Scott Satterfield about it.
Both those backup quarterbacks are sons of coaches. So you've got that kind of mentality just waiting on you. It's just what type of talent. Jalen Moore with the hurdle.
Speaking of talent, Marcus Williams, the redshirt freshman, hurdling a defender, picks up 24 yards. He's the 3rd running back we've seen tonight.
Looked out there, and what a great job. He just jumps over the pile. Fresh legging it out there versus a game-weary Toledo defense. And they talk about this offensively. They just kind of grind you down to a nub. And App State was able to score early. They could stay in their offensive game plan, and they're just wearing the Rockets down.
Working that right side. Williams cuts it back inside the 40. He's down to the 38. Another first down. That's 12 yards.
You got to think, you know, if you're a Toledo defender right now, it's just son of a nutcracker. They got another one out there now. It's Jalen Moore, it's Patrick Harrington. Now it's Marcus Williams. How many do we have to face here tonight?
Nothing doing on that first down carry. Hey, the ESPN app is a fan's best friend. Stream every ESPN and ABC college football game live at home or on the go. You'll get access to scores, news, and highlights of all the bowl games. Download the ESPN app to start streaming now. while you're sitting around the living room telling stories tomorrow night, you get your phone out.
Pop the app out and just ignore your relatives? Is that
Watch that's pretty much what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
The Hawaii Bowl is on tomorrow night. Catch that on your ESPN app.
You're going to mess up and say Mele Kalikimaka instead of Merry Christmas, and they're going to know what you're doing over there. You know what? Uncle Dave is over there watching his ESPN app. He's not even listening to the night before Christmas.
The other Mountaineers, West Virginia out there with Utah.
The Utes and the Mountaineers. You think about a guy. Next year, you think about like Will Greer coming back for West Virginia. That's a guy that's probably a preseason Heisman candidate.
Florida wouldn't want to have him at quarterback.
No,
Yeah.
no, we'll hang on to him.
Third down coming up for this Mountaineer offense. They have eclipsed the 300-yard mark rushing the football. They're at 433 yards of total offense. And a timeout taken by the Mountaineers. 7:54 to go in this one. We'll step aside as well. Back to Mobile, Alabama, right after this.
The Dollar General Bowl, brought to you by Dollar General. Save time, save money every day. And CarMax, drive what's possible.
Well, Wednesday night, the teams competed in a bowling competition, and Toledo won by about 150 pins.
Whoa.
15 of the 18 bowling winners have gone on to win the football game, but that trend won't happen here unless we see it would be the greatest comeback ever.
Yeah, it would. It sure would. I don't even have to research that one. And you think App State's not going to be good at bowling. It's a topography thing. They're in the mountains. You can't get those lanes level up there. It's nothing but gutter balls.
So on third down, Williams will take it down to the 31-yard line. So it'll be fourth down and about 4.5. Boy, Moore, Harrington, and Williams have done a number on the ground today. And this Toledo defense just hasn't been able to slow them down at all. I mean, on the flip side, you look at this Toledo offense, they're averaging almost 40 points a game, 510 yards of offense. And they got a goose egg on the board right now.
That's what's really remarkable.
Over the middle, and that one almost picked off. Instead, it'll hit the turf. Anderson back there defensively for the Rockets. So Mountaineers will turn it over on downs.
And beyond that, Toledo really hasn't even threatened to score. The offense just could never get it going. The few times they did, they get it in plus territory and you throw a pick in the red zone, or it's caught at least in the red zone. You turn right back around and get your defense back out on the field.
Go back to 2009. Ohio State was the last team to shut out the Rockets.
They've already had somewhat of a historic season. The first 11-win season since '95. Gary Pinkel was the head coach then. They had a 12-win season since 1971.
Big hit by Anthony Flory on Tompkins. You mentioned the offense. The closest they have been to the goal line is they got to the 39-yard line of App State and actually ended up punting on that.
It's never looked good outside of the most promising drive, perhaps, were the opening possessions of the first quarter and the third quarter. And incidentally, the first quarter gets undone by a couple of false start penalties, and in the third quarter you end up throwing an interception.
That one sails out of bounds. Woodside, 15 out of 25, 115, 2 picks. Not been a good night for him. Young man who played as a freshman and a sophomore, then took a red shirt. Came back for his last 2 seasons. School's all-time leading passer. Over 10,400 yards and 93 touchdowns. But has not had the answer tonight for this Mountaineer defense. Pressure again, gets out of trouble. And that one is picked off. What a grab by Clifton Duck. With his 6th interception of the year, his 11th for his career. What a grab on the sideline by the sophomore out of Matthews, North Carolina.
And partly set up by pressure once again. Myquan Stout and Caleb Fuller flushing Logan Woodside. And great job by Clifton Duck. He just breaks on this route. He wasn't even in coverage initially on Desmond Phillips. But he sees Logan Woodside scrambling towards the sideline and just jumps right in front of the would-be receiver.
Duck is in the NCAA 9th in interceptions. 2016 was the Sun Belt Freshman of the Year. They'll hand it off to Williams. He's inside the 30 to the 25, still driving the pile down the 20-yard line. That is a 17-yard run. And this Toledo defense running out of gas. Clock moving at 5:40 to go in the fourth quarter. Hand it off to Williams again. This time he'll get inside the 20, a couple of yards on that carry. Boy, the run game has really improved here the last 4 ball games now for Appalachian State. On the ground today, 322 yards. That gives them about 1,250 yards rushing over the last 4 games. Meanwhile, in that same time period, their rush defense has been stellar. They've given up less than 400 yards over that 4-game span. So the combination has worked in favor of Scott Satterfield, especially tonight to the tune of 34-0.
That's how this team is built. That's the recipe. And you can see that it's a good one. They've enjoyed tremendous success at whatever level they find themselves playing at. It doesn't matter if it's the FCS or the FBS. Come up, join the Sun Belt, commence to dominate at that level as well.
And, you know, we talk about the rushing numbers, but, you know, it all counts on the scoreboard. Well, we still have a few minutes to go here, but in the last 4 games, App State's outscored the opponents 155-30.
That's dominating, to say the least. You know, we came into this one and talk about the head coaches. They're familiar with one another. They don't like playing each other. Jason Candle's down there going, I want a new cell phone number after this one. I don't want to hear from my buddy for a while.
Pass is dropped on 3rd down. That'll stop the clock at 4:12. And reminder, these two teams played last year in Montgomery, Alabama, the Raycom Media Camellia Bowl. And that came down to a missed field goal with about 3 minutes to go. That was the difference in the game. And App State won that contest. I don't know what it is about the state of Alabama, but App State has won 3 consecutive bowl games, and they've all been here in the state of Alabama.
You know, Toledo, the last 2 times they were in Mobile, they won. So you're thinking, you know, maybe geography would eventually swing their way. They need to just start playing games in another state, maybe. Pick up a Florida game somewhere. Maybe head further south.
Taylor Lamb will be tackled around the 20-yard line on 4th down, and looks like an injured Rocket player around the 28-yard line. That is Woodley down, slow to get up. We'll step aside for a moment. 4:04 left to play in this one. .34 App State looking for their 9th win of the season. 4:04 to go in the fourth quarter. And I think it's safe now for us to bring out tonight's Capital One players of the game. We're going to give it to the O-line. These guys have 3 first-team all-conference performers up there. They did not disappoint tonight.
And they got a true freshman at center, a redshirt freshman at right guard, a left guard rather. And they have performed unbelievably well, really all season.
And another sack. Woodside is dropped again. That'll be the 3rd time he's been sacked. That'll be a loss of 10. Devin Stringer getting there, along with Caleb Fuller again.
Caleb Fuller, he's been all over the place in this game. Devin Stringer as well, you know, a guy that stepped up. And Fuller, he's lined up at defensive end, he's lined up at nose tackle. His numbers have been pretty impressive. 1.5 sacks, 2 pressures, 3.5 tackles for loss, 6 tackles total, and a partridge in a pear tree.
Incomplete as pressure comes again. Fans, tune into ESPN3 for the post-game trophy ceremony presented by Capital One immediately following the game. And don't forget, tomorrow night on Christmas Eve, the Hawaii Bowl, 8:30 Eastern Time. Fresno State and Houston coming your way. Ed Oliver and that Cougar defense trying to slow down Fresno State, by the way, who has put together some impressive defensive numbers as well. This team went 1-11 last year, did Fresno State. This year, they have put together a fantastic season behind some stout defense, giving up 17 points a game.
Aren't you going out to Hawaii, Dave? Are you going out there for Christmas?
I am. I'm going to go hang out with Jordan Ta'amu, the Ole Miss quarterback who replaced Shea Patterson, remember?
Does he know that?
Well,
I told him.
I told him. I don't know that he necessarily wanted me to go.
Well, that might have been a strategic error on your. I don't know if I would have given him a heads up. Now he's got a chance to maybe come up with something else or hide. What are you going to do out there? You going to go to that little Sunday clinic that they run?
A little football.
Mariota and those guys?
Showing my skill set.
Your skill set? As a passer?
Run some routes for him.
Okay. You're pretty explosive out of the breaks, aren't you?
Clifton Duck dropped the football, but App State will fall on it. 2:28 to go. App State offense trying to close it out here at Ladd Peoples Stadium in Mobile. Back in a moment. Coming up after our game, don't miss Sports Center with Bucci and Anderson. Red Hot Ravens, why the AFC's best. Can't overlook Joe Flacco and the Ravens. Also a very dramatic day of bowl games. Some great comebacks for Army in South Florida. Plus Baker Mayfield's dream come true, and it goes beyond winning the Heisman. Our conversation with the Oklahoma quarterback. Sports Center coming up next on ESPN and the ESPN app. Well, for App State, they will make some substitutions late in the game, and for Taylor Lamb, it is a career. It is over, and it has been highly successful. He will finish up 36-13 as a starting quarterback. What a run. And he has won 3 consecutive bowl games as their leader.
What a winner. I mean, is it just one of those guys? And he's, you know, surrounded by some great players as well, you know, and would probably be the first to acknowledge that. Nobody does it by themselves. Certainly, it's been a team journey for Taylor Lamb, and the coaches talk about he's going to make a great coach. He made a great quarterback during his playing days. You know, whether it's at Clemson or Arkansas or Georgia or wherever he ends up being a grad assistant, he is going to be, he's going to have an impact to this game well beyond his playing career. His mom's kind of taking the photos of her son there on the sideline.
Well, the Fun Belt was fun tonight. There wasn't a whole lot of action in Maction.
It was just left out the action part. You see Scott Satterfield, as we mentioned, he's friends with Jason Candle. But they might maintain radio silence for a while after this one.
Again, over on ESPN3. You can catch the post-game trophy ceremony presented by Capital One as soon as we conclude this one in 35 seconds. So Appalachian State will finish this year 9-4. Meanwhile, this Toledo team will wrap it up 11-3, winners of the MAC. They beat Akron in the MAC championship game 45-28. Fantastic year for Toledo. This will be a tough loss to swallow, but Logan Woodside's career ends on a sour note, but a career that was certainly wonderful in so many aspects. Terry Swanson moving on as well, the senior running back. Scott Satterfield, though, has a lot to build on. And I guess the biggest question, though, will be who's going to run this offense?
That's a big question. No doubt about it. Because the hub of the offense, the centerpiece, has been Taylor Lamb. It hasn't always been from a yardage generated or even points scored, although there's been plenty of those as well. But he has been the kind of the eye of the storm for the Mountaineers offensively. They're going to have to find someone else to helm the offense going forward.
With under a minute, therefore, it also incurs a 10-second runoff. That's at the end of the game.
Well, that was somewhat anticlimactic. Kind of perfect finish.
It's been anticlimactic for 2 quarters, Dave.
For 34-0 win. Scott Satterfield and the Appalachian State Mountaineers will storm the field and celebrate their 9th win as they blank a high-powered offense that was averaging almost 40 points a game and over 500 yards of offense. They hold them to 146 yards on 50 plays. Meanwhile, 327 on the ground for the Mountaineers, and they do what they do best, and that is just win ball games. 34-0 our final score from the Dollar General Bowl here in Mobile, Alabama. So for Matt Stinchcomb, Dawn Davenport, I'm Dave Neal saying so long. Don't forget, coming up next on ESPN at Sports Center, be sure to join us on ESPN 3 for the post-game trophy ceremony presented by Capital One. Time now to get you to the studio. John and John, it is all yours.